The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this webinar dedicated on the SAP PPM application and on the topic how to leverage your SAP investment. In particular, data synchronization with the SAP PS and HR modules. I will shortly introduce myself. My name is Mathias Brissot, SAP PPM consultant for Team Square Company. And I am with Jessica Bienvenue, our marketing manager. So if you have any questions or feedback you would like to share with us after this webinar, don't hesitate to contact us to the mail or phone number shown right now. So today's webinar will be around 1 hour long. It will be split into two parts. First, a short presentation about Team Square, then with the demo about the data synchronization between SAP PPM and SAP PS modules and HR. And finally, we'll have around 15 minutes dedicated to your questions, and we'll try to answer them as well as possible. So you have on the right side of your screen, you should have a blank chat window to write your questions. So don't hesitate to write all your questions during the presentation, and we will take the time at the end to answer all of them. So first of all, a few words about Team Square. Team Square is a consultancy company specialized in portfolio and project management. We have more than 20 years of experience in that domain, and our goal is to improve project and portfolio management in organizations. We propose both tools implementation as well as methods. We have a full team to work on different aspects of your needs. We have both technical resources, but also senior consultants and experimented change management people. We also have a strong partnership relationship with SAP. We are SAP partner. We have a lot of consultants with which are SAP certified associates, and we also have the recognized expertise in product lifecycle and innovation management, PPM being a part of this solution. Team Square is mainly located in France with 3 main agencies, one in Paris, another one in Lyon, and a third one in the south of France around Nice and Sofia. But our consultants move around the world. In France, we have some people in the north of France, in the south, in the west. We have also a few business outside France, but it's mostly so far a French coverage. Some references. I will not go the individual names. This slide is mainly here to show that we are working with a lot of companies with different domains. We are not specialized in one area. We worked for customers working in automotive industry, chemical, assurance, banks, and so on. The message here is to say that we can adapt to your business and your requirements, trying to improve your portfolio and project management. So let's start now with a short introduction about SAP PPM, especially how to leverage your current SAP investment. A few words about SAP PPM. So you might have today maybe an SAP ERP implementation with HR modules or PS for project system, FICO, and maybe other ERP modules, which is here called operational or core level. But then you might face sometimes issue to consolidate all of this data and get a good grip on your projects and your resources. That's why SAP built this PPM solution, PPM standing for Portfolio and Project Management. The idea here is to have a strategic and tactical level to monitor and follow up your portfolio. The idea here is to first, at the strategical level, in the portfolio level, to have all the projects identified here and prioritized. This is also in the PPM area that you will balance your portfolio, prioritize the projects, and decide which projects should be run in the short-term coming years and which one should be maybe frozen or cancelled in case the business is not good. Then when the projects are decided, still in PPM, there will be a tactical or the project level where the execution will be monitored by the project managers and resource managers for resources assignment. Again, the idea here in PPM is to have a smooth interface for the project managers who sometimes could be in SAP PS module, for instance, could be refracted or have some difficulties to use. PPM has especially been designed for project managers with a smooth and intuitive scheduling tool. So once you have launched execution, then your ERP will get all your cost, your budget, forecast data as you might already have implemented. And then as it's strongly integrated with PPM, SAP is able to consolidate and to integrate all of this financial data and resources data up to the portfolio management, where you can get a nice graphs, analytics, and analysis to monitor and balance your portfolio, and to see if the projects are going smoothly or if some of them should be maybe cancelled, frozen, or if an action has to be taken in order to get the project back on the good trend. That is why SAP introduced the PPM solution really to support and leverage your SAP installation, ERP installation, and get a good grip on your project portfolio. Now, let's have the situation today. You have one system. It could be a system representing your portfolio project. It could be maybe an Excel-based system or any other system. And there is an update in your portfolio. You have a new project, let's say, appearing in your portfolio system. Then in a lot of companies today, those portfolio management systems are not always integrated with the ERP, and we sometimes have lots of mail exchange to update other third-party systems or Excel files. And here we have a risk of human error or mistake by reintroducing the change of the new projects in the portfolio. And so on and so on. We can have a kind of cascade of systems or Excel sheets where we don't have potentially a consistent portfolio due to the mistakes of re-entering data. We can also have a situation when you could have some custom developed interfaces from your central portfolio system and other third-party systems using the project information for scheduling and monitoring the cost. As a consequence, by not having an integrated tool, there is a high risk of unreliable information system, and also it is time-consuming as several people might be involved in this process, and it could take time to secure the consistency of the project portfolio data. That's why SAP introduced SAP PPM solution. So in the slide, I represented the three main areas we will describe today. On the bottom right side, we have the classic ERP or ECC system with the financial modules like PS, FICO, in which you maybe already follow up your actual costs, budget, forecast, commitments, and maybe also time reporting for your resources. With PPM, we add two levels. We have the portfolio level, in which mostly portfolio managers will use to get a macro view on the project portfolio, financial and capacity planning, and performing simulations or what-if scenario in order to well prioritize the project and balance your portfolio. And we also have the operational level, where we get the operational projects, which will be used by mostly project managers and resource managers, where we will have the task scheduling, the individual resource planning, and also some simulation to have several scenarios of the project during the execution. Those three areas are strongly integrated and communicate between each other. From the portfolio level, we can generate and start projects when a project is decided from the portfolio. And on the other hand, the project, when it's executed, can send to the portfolio level some KPIs like the resource demand and allocation ratio, or scheduling status, staffing status, and so on. Also, the portfolio will also communicate with the ERP, where you can transfer some agreed budget from portfolio level to the PS module, and on the other hand, from the ERP, you can send back to the portfolio level detailed figures, actual, commitment, forecast, but that would be consolidated and aggregated to the right granularity up to the portfolio level. And finally, between the operational project and the ERP, we also have an integration where we can have first a structure integration. From the project, they can be integrated to ERP, WBS element, or internal orders. And on the other hand, all the time spent by the resources on the activities can be recorded both on the financial side in WBS element, for instance, and sent back to the project so that the project manager can have a good view on the time spent versus the plan or the budgeted one. Let's first start with the first topic today, how PPM is synchronized with the PS module and how you can leverage your current PS installation. One slide to illustrate how we structured the PPM application and how we can communicate with the PS module. In the portfolio area on the top, where the portfolio manager will do that job, we have a portfolio structure which can be divided into several domains. It could be different buckets or function, organizational areas. It really depends on your business and how you want to structure your different portfolios and your buckets. Within each bucket, you will have what we call the items. The items will represent a project, for instance, or any item you want to monitor in the portfolio level. We can also have initiatives here in light red, which represents a group of items, and it can be useful for analyzing cross-domain project, but which belongs to one global initiative within your portfolio, like a program, for instance. Each portfolio item will be connected with a one-to-one relationship to one operational project. And this is the object that will be used by the project manager to execute the project, plan the activities and the resources. In the same way, each operational project and item will be connected to one single WBS structure. And this is mostly here that project controllers or business controllers will work to monitor the project cost and secure that the actuals are still within the frame agreed globally by the different organizations from your company. So the first scenario I will show today for this integration with SAP PS, we'll have the scenario where from the portfolio management, portfolio manager wants to update globally some project attributes and statuses. And thanks to the PPM integration, when saving this change, the information should be broadcasted to the entire SAP landscape, meaning that on one hand, the project manager should see directly the update in his project, and the project controller should also see the update in SAP PS without having to do any manual actions. So let's go to the system now. So here, I am using the SAP Network Business Client and connected to the SAP system with behind both ERP and PPM solutions. Here we can see the main PPM menu by the standard one with different categories like portfolio management, project management, resource management. So depending on your role, if you are a portfolio manager or project manager, you can see more or less menus. So at first today, let's go for this scenario when the portfolio manager will broadcast a change globally within the SAP landscape. So I will go to the portfolio management and open one item. So first, we have this item dashboard on the portfolio area where as a portfolio manager, I can have an overview of a list of items within my bucket, the bucket I am responsible for, and with global KPIs, with start and finish dates, some key figures about the project, the risks, budget status, scheduling status, staffing status. And I can also get some consolidated figures about the budget, planned cost, and actual cost. So here, this is really a macro level used for portfolio management. Of course, all the detailed information and postings are available in the ERP. But as a portfolio manager, I'm really focused on those main KPIs. I will open the first item. So in the item, then I can see overall information about the projects. I can see on the top bar the main information with the main statuses and name of the project. And I can have also here a status of the main phases of the project. And this can be defined according to your business and according to your project management processes. I will first show how this item from the portfolio is connected to the different areas of the SAP. So first of all, how this item for the portfolio is connected to the project management. So I will open here the project, and here I am reaching the operational area where the project manager will work and schedule different activities through different phases. I can also have a view here on the mapping between this operational project and the SAP PS WBS element. So you can see here that we have a one-to-one relationship between each activities and WBS element, which will be used to integrate planned costs and also consolidate actual ones. Finally, I have also a link between the portfolio management and the PS module. And I can see here directly the connected PS structure with the list of WBS elements. So now I will perform the change globally from the portfolio management. So I will, for instance, change the name of the project. I will update the priority, and I will set the status to closed. And save. So now as a portfolio manager, I did the update globally from the central place from the PPM. So the change now should be reflected to the other areas within my SAP landscape. So if I come back to the operational project, I can see here that the name has been updated. The statuses as well has been set to completed automatically. And if I go to the additional data, the priority as well has been updated. So here from a portfolio place, the executive or the executive project, operational project has been updated in real time. In the same way, if I go now to the PS module, we can also see that in real time the PS name has been updated. The system status has been set to closed. And if I go to the WBS detail information, I can see that the priority has been set to very high accordingly. And I can also confirm that the dates as well of the project has been transferred according to the portfolio data. So as a summary of this first scenario, you can see that thanks to the PPM integration capabilities, you are able to secure that your information system will always get the latest available information about your project's master data. It can be project attributes, dates, statuses, and any project-related data. You can control from a portfolio level all your product information and reflect it in real time throughout the entire SAP landscape. And this is something that a lot of companies are facing difficulty to secure the portfolio project consistency within the different tools and systems in the company. This strong integration also allows to remove one or several custom interfaces between any third-party project management tools and SAP ERP. And thanks to this PPM integration, you can see that portfolio managers, resource managers, controllers, project managers, they are sharing the same data in the same system, and it's definitely a good way to secure a better communication and a better grip than on your projects. Second part of today's webinar is the integration between PPM and now the HR module of the SAP ERP. So for the ones who already have an HR implementation or HCM implementation for human capital management, in the bottom part, basically in this SAP module, you have your organizational structure, which will be described throughout the different departments of your company. And you will also have all your employees, which will be assigned to those departments. And any employee which will get data like his address, communication, availability, name, and also some qualifications in case you have activated the qualifications management. SAP PPM is integrated also with this HR module and relies on this HR data then to propose a good control on the resources and capacity management. PPM will use the same organizational structure, and all the employee will be converted into business partners. Business partner being a resource taking part into one or several projects. Those business partners will inherit all the employee data as well as the qualifications. And here the qualifications have an important role. It could be used in the staffing process to select the best resource for the projects. So I will have here two scenarios for this integration with HR. The first one, which will be explaining this qualifications management. As a resource manager, I will try to find a suitable resource for the project via the qualification search. And I will notice that some updates are necessary for this resource. Then the administrator will update in the HR module the qualifications, and then as a manager in PPM, I'll be able to see directly this change when trying to staff the right person to the project. So going back to the tool, I will now go as a resource manager in this menu, and first I will open my resources team. So here I can have an overview of my team. I have 6 resources in my team, and I have here at first a dashboard with overall indicators about the availability for those resources. So then the red icon meaning that the resource hasn't been staffed at all, green that she or he has been staffed completely, and yellow meaning that she or he has been partially staffed. Of course, then I can get more detailed information if I click on the resource to see that. I have another view as a resource manager, which is called staffing overview, in which I can see all the demands coming from the projects which are asking resources to me as a resource manager. And for this project, for instance, I have one role, one competence that is required for this project. So as a resource manager, if I want to answer this requirement, I can try to search for a resource in my team to assign it. And I will use the qualification search because the project manager has set some, let's say, preliminary qualifications for this role. I need some business analyst experience, English and Japanese. So let's find resource. And in my team, I have one resource which has been identified and which is suitable at 83%. If I want to see in details what are the competencies that correspond to this resource, I can go to the profile matchup. And I can see that the resource is suitable for the 2 first qualifications, but not for the third one, which was not mandatory. But actually, as a group manager, I know that this person has the right competence. So I will ask the resource administrator to update data in the HR module. So as an HR administrator, I can go in the right transaction in SAP to update those competencies. And for this resource, I can set the right competencies for the Japanese qualifications. So here I am in the HR module of SAP. And now if I'm coming back in the PPM application and try to search for the right resource again, I shall see the updated data. So I will try to find the resource for the qualifications again, find resource, and now you can see that the resource is suitable at 100%. I can still double check that through the profile matchup. And now, in real time, the resource qualification have been updated thanks to the integration between HR and PPM application. The second scenario now is more dealing with capacity planning in the portfolio management. So as a resource administrator, I will update a resource assignment because I know that this resource will leave the organization at the end of the year. When doing this change in the SAP HR module, then in the portfolio management system, I shall see first, as a resource manager, I shall see that this resource will not be available in my team from the next year. And as a portfolio manager, I shall see that the capacity of my bucket also should be reduced accordingly if this resource leaves the company of the department. So coming back to the system, first of all, as a portfolio manager, I will have a look at the current capacity of my bucket. So I will open the project portfolio structure, and here I can see so far a simple portfolio structure, and I will open the product group 2 level, which is the bucket I am responsible for in the portfolio. And in this bucket, I will have a look at the current capacity planning. So for this bucket, I can display different kind of data. Here I only have 3 views with actual cost, capacity, and a forecast, which is the plan figures for the project demands. You can have, it's customizable. You can define more or less views depending on what you want to monitor. You could also would like to monitor maybe the project allocation or some manual inputs. This is very customizable. But here we have a very simple example where we have actual time, capacity, and planned activities. You can see here that in terms of capacity, I have around 6,000 hours available all along the year so far. Now, as a resource administrator, I will make an update in the HR system, and I will update the resource and set an end date for the end of the year. So let's say I will update Mrs. Stamp and delimit her assignment up to the end of the year, 31st of December this year. And save. So first, as a resource manager, I will close those windows. If I come back to my overall team, and if I refresh my view, here I can see that from January next year, the resource became unavailable. So I know as a group manager that Mrs. Stamp will not be available from next year in my team. Now, as a portfolio manager, if I want to have a look at my capacity in my bucket, if I have a new look at my capacity management, I can see that here the figures have been decreased accordingly from next year, switching from 6,000 hours up to 5,000 hours. I can also get some graphs which maybe could be easier to monitor, and here I can easily see that my capacity will decrease from next year, that depending on the project demands, I might have maybe either to hire someone or to prioritize in some way the projects. So definitely this will help me to perform the right balancing in my portfolio. So as a summary with this HR integration, you can see that, again, thanks to strong PPM integration capabilities, you are able to get an information system which will always get the latest information about your resources. Attributes, the assignment to the organizations, the qualification, the available time, or the statuses if the resource is still activated or not in your organization. You can also control, again, from a central level, which here will be the HR module, your resource information, and it will be reflected in real time throughout the landscape, and especially in the PPM module, which secure that you will always have a single portfolio management place updated with the latest HR information data. And it also allows to remove some potential interfaces you might have built between third-party project management tools and the SAP ERP, especially the HR module. And again, it aims for the project manager, portfolio manager, controllers, and so on, to share the same data in a single source and to use this in a most efficient way. So as a summary, you could see in those three different scenarios that the PPM software really brings strong integration capabilities with SAP ERP. First, on the project management side, thanks to PPM, you are able from a portfolio management system to broadcast and share one single information, which will be the real information and used in all other applications and especially in the PS module. You can also secure with PPM that you will not have any duplicate information or wrong information. It will always be centralized first in PPM and broadcasted. Then regarding the HR, on the HR side for the resources, again, thanks to PPM, you can benefit automatically from all your HR implementation and resources data in the portfolio management level. Thanks to this integration, you can get the right capacity, human capacity that is available for your different buckets, and you can have a real support then to get a good balance in your portfolio and prioritize the projects depending on the resources available or not in the different buckets. Also, with the qualification management integration, it could be also a strong support for your resource management process in case you are willing or using to use qualifications to find the most suitable resources to work in your project. So we are a bit in advance on the time schedule, but now comes the questions and answers corner. So let's have a look at all the questions that have been raised during this webinar. So the first question is the integration and synchronization between SAP PPM, PS, and other modules provided with the SAP tool, are you presenting or you are presenting integration? No. So what I showed today is really an integration available in the standard tool. So of course you have some customizing to do, like any SAP implementation, but all the interfaces between PPM, PS module, or HR for both qualifications, organizational assignments, projects, master data, and so on, this is available as a standard interfaces. And that's the main reason why SAP built this tool, is really to integrate all your current ECC implementation and data up to the portfolio management. Then the right customizing will have to be done in order to integrate the right scope of data into the right granularity. But the interface is not a custom development. This is available from the start with the SAP solution. A second question, the demo are always based on named resources, but in real life, at this level and for large company, it is impossible to do like that. Does SAP support generic resources and use the resource center to allocate capacity? Yeah, that's a good question. And actually, there are two levels for resource management. What I showed today was more the operational resource management, where the projects are launched, being executed, and when resource managers can assign individually the people to those projects so that they can report time and execute the activity. But then we have also the portfolio management level, where we will define a generic capacity and also a generic demand for the projects. And actually, I will recommend you to attend maybe at the end of the month our next webinar, which will be dedicated to this financial and capacity planning up to the portfolio level, and in which we will also show you how, at a macro level, we can also monitor the resources. I can also add that you still have the possibility to define generic resource if you want to assign this generic resource to the projects in case you do not yet who will perform the work. So either a global capacity and demand management at portfolio level, or you still have the workaround to create a generic resource directly in the HR system. But again, I recommend you to attend our next webinar. You might maybe see other demos or sample screenshots to explain that. Next question is, I saw in the demo that you have two instances, PPM and ERP. Does it mean we need a separate system to run SAP PPM? Actually, you have the choice. You could run the PPM system as a standalone system, then integrated with the ERP with connections, or you can have everything in the same box, both the ERP, the ECC, and PPM. It is a choice of SAP architecture. There are different pros and cons. One system definitely reduces the running cost and administration. But on the other hand, it could bring sometimes some more constraints when you want, for instance, to do some upgrade. You want to upgrade the PPM part, then you will have to freeze the complete SAP ERP. So it's there is no best scenario. It's an architectural choice. Recently, it's true that a lot of customers try to have everything in one box, in one SAP ERP, as the financial savings are quite interesting. Next question, is there any reason to have 3 places to handle a project? If I understand right, 2 in the PPM database and 1 in the ERP. So yes, as I said in the webinar, the purpose of having 3 different places is that it is not the same population who is using this information. You have the business controllers or project controllers who are used to use the PS module and WBS element to monitor cost in a detailed level. But this PS module is quite often seen as a complex tool for project managers who are focused on the execution of the tasks and activities. And that's why SAP built this PPM system. Then within the PPM, you have one project for the project managers to run the project and set up the detailed activities. But we also have the portfolio managers who are not focused on the detailed deliveries, but on a macro analysis from the portfolio, project portfolio with global KPIs, financial consolidation, and so on. So that's why we have 3 places, one place for one specific role in the organization. Third question, we use SAP PS to manage our projects with network activities. Can we use this portfolio feature anyway? Yes, definitely. If you already use SAP PS as the project management tool with network activities, for instance, you are not obliged to use the project management part of the PPM application. You can do the choice to connect your PS implementation with network and all detailed activities to the portfolio. And again, the standard interfaces support the consolidation for all data in the PS module to the portfolio. And all your cost, scheduling information, resources assignments in the PS module will be consolidated into the PPM project portfolio application. Next question, we already have HR and FICO implemented, and we want to use a project management tool. Why should we use PS and PPM and not only the PS module? Yeah, so as I said before, the PPM system has been designed especially for operational population. And that's why having only PS could be sometimes complex in terms of change management, to make the project managers using the PS tool as a daily tool for monitoring the project. And that's why PS in combination with PPM is one of the best solutions, as the PS will be really financial oriented, controlling oriented solution, whereas the PPM solution will be focused on the activities, resources, and deliveries. We have one last question. Do you have a webinar for demoing the what if feature on SAP, selection of opportunity versus existing projects, and impact on resource capacity? So not yet, but it's planned. We will have it in October. So we'll of course send you an invitation to this webinar. The date has not been decided yet, but during October, we plan to have a new webinar for all the simulation, the portfolio management, how to get the right prioritization, how to balance the portfolio, how to see if I have the necessary resources to run the project, what happens if I move a project in the time. So all of these questions will be raised at that time. So keep connected, and we will send you the invitation then during October. New question. In your slide, we can see that the MSP at operational level could be connected to PPM. Can you tell us more on this? So that's right. So by default, SAP proposes a standard integration with any SAP module, which makes sense. But there is also a door open for the integration with Microsoft Project Server. There is an available connection between Project Server and the operational projects in the PPM module. So there is a kind of, in customizing, we can define some mapping, table mapping between the SAP PPM information and the Microsoft Project Server information. Then it means a bit of work. I mean, the interface is not native. The field mapping is native, but then in case we want to integrate MSP to PPM, a bit of work is necessary to set up the integration. It could be done through XML files or any other interfaces. What is native is a manual integration. You can extract and import manually the project data between PPM and projects. So manual export-import is a standard to the field mapping. If you want to have an automatized update from PPM to MSP or the other way around, then a small work is necessary to develop this kind of interfaces. If you want to have some information about that, we did a webinar, it was last year, I think, on the multi-project management, where at the end we have maybe around 5-10 minutes dedicated to this integration. So you can have a look on our site, and where we speak a bit about this table mapping and how the integration between a project and PPM works. And there is a short demo to illustrate this integration. So don't hesitate to have a look on your site. On our site, it is the multi-project management webinar. So I have so far answered all the questions. We still have time. So if you have new questions, don't hesitate. We can still take a few minutes. No? Okay. Then thank you everyone for attending this. Oh, sorry. I have one. From Jean-François Gauthier. Have you got any mapping or technical details on SAP Finance module integration with MS projects? Not at this level. So far, we don't have such integration in place. We have some integration available, for instance, for resources time reporting, for instance, between the CATS module of SAP and then the Microsoft project hours time reporting. But for the more advanced finance integration with MS projects, it's a bit more complex, and so far we haven't that available. Any other questions? No? Okay, then thank you everyone for attending this webinar. Hope you got a good overview of the capabilities of the PPM solution integrated to the ERP. Again, I hope to see you to our next webinar at the end of September. You might soon receive an invitation, which will be focused on the portfolio, financial and capacity planning, where I hope we will also answer your questions regarding how to consolidate our financial data from the ERP, and the same for the resources planning and time data up to the portfolio management level. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.